went over what community is and how everyone who is part of it has an obligation to contribute. We discussed how someone can contribute negatively, but now let's look at the other side of the coin. One of those deadbeat individuals who put nothing in. Society has been set up to monetize putz culture. People don't develop social skills, so they have various markets to capitalize on those who never gain any connections to people. They're being encouraged to stay in this state and have personalities on social media, feeding them red meat and comfort food to not progress. The red pill community sits around snapping on women all day. They talk endlessly of the problem while providing no solutions. None of these people are qualified or capable of being in a functional romantic relationship, or any relationship for that matter. These people are hermits with no real-world experience. Some may say this is just one way of life and everyone is different, but this is extremely detrimental to the community. These people don't have a criminal record, bastard kids, and haven't misused women. They are law-abiding citizens who stay out of trouble. They're also completely useless. They won't cause any trouble, but they also won't create any value. They will only take up space and consume. There are no bench warmers in community. Everyone has their part to play and they're required to play it. Contribution is your rite of passage. The Most High commanded Adam and later Noah to be fruitful and multiply, to populate the earth. This doesn't mean everyone has to have a family, as Jesus would have then sinned. If we're not going to have physical sons and daughters, raising them to be Israelites, then we are to have spiritual sons and daughters in bringing people into the truth of them being Israelites. All of our people must take what the Most High has given us and use it to bring our people home, so this captivity will end. Unfortunately, many have washed their hands of the whole thing and retreated into virtual worlds. Life is too difficult, so they'll no longer deal with it. There are now so many options for these types of people to indulge themselves. None of these things existed 50 years ago. You either had to get out in the world and make it, or live a life of confined, quiet desperation. People who more than likely would have taken their own lives are now in an environment that pampers and panders to them. This is not a solution to the problem. Stimulating someone into a perpetual state of adolescence has had adverse effects on society. Romantic relationships are at an all-time low, and at best, the only thing the majority of the populace is qualified to have in terms of romantic relationship is a hookup. Amongst our people, passport bros who hate black women are on one side, and divestors who hate black men are on the other. The terrorists have won. The plot to break up the black family, which has been in motion for the last 80 years, has accomplished its mission. Have all the video games, porn, and waifus you want. Have all the body positivity, boss bitch, and city girl energy you want. You're not getting married, and you're not bringing up children. The little accidents you may have during your sexual adventures, if you decide not to abort them, will be raised by the state. Those kids will become tools for white supremacy. That's if they don't become gay and lesbian tools for white supremacy. They won't be taught to fight the system. They will be groomed to submit to and gatekeep it. A peaceful, silent, and humane genocide. As I've already said, the men are the ones who must take the lead in this. The women will follow behind us. Respect is never given. Respect must be taken. We have an obligation to our neighbor. Taking a quote from the late Old Dirty Bastard, "Gotta get up and be somebody." We can no longer live invisible lives. Obviously, this will not be easy. In fact, for many, it will be extremely hard, as many have lived the majority of their lives in this way. We rob our brother by not being someone anyone can depend on for anything. Everyone has something to give. You don't need to be good at everything, and you don't need to be someone else. You must bring out your own version of greatness. You have it, but life has discouraged you from allowing it to surface. If we are a special people above all others on the earth, as the Most High said we are, this comes with a standard, an expectation, a responsibility. Your life does not belong to you. It belongs to the community. No more living for and to yourself. A person contributing nothing is a pariah. We have a duty to bring something to the table. We're being punished for our disobedience to Torah law and are in captivity in an anti-black racist society. The system our enemies set up is made to exterminate us. The strategy is to divide us and make us docile. They cripple us by indulging our urges. We won't build or produce anything or be willing to fight our enemies when we're overstimulated. Whether it's weed, booze, porn, women, games, streaming content, or consumer goods, having all these things readily available and easily accessible is destroying us from the inside out. We have become isolated socially and are deteriorating physically. If you're socially isolated, you need to start talking to people. We were raised being told to not talk to strangers. This isn't good advice. At one point, we were all strangers. Any relationship which has ever been formed in the history of mankind has come from someone taking the initiative to talk to someone they didn't know. There is literally no other way for socialization to happen. If everyone only talked to people they knew, there would be no relationships of any kind ever. Look for opportunities to begin a conversation with a person. You're not trying to get anyone's number or find a best friend. You're just trying to exercise a muscle you haven't in a very long time. Don't worry about how they react to you, whether they ignore you, yell at you, or cuss you out. Don't worry about this. If they make it clear they don't want to talk to you, just move on to the next person. Don't worry about pickup lines. This will come later as you get better at socially engaging people and find methods that work for you. Show me someone who can't talk to women, and I'll show you someone who doesn't talk to people in general. No one would be able to ride a bike if they walked away from it when they fell off the bike. You get back on the bike and keep riding until you're able to ride competently. People doing wheelies and bike tricks started off as people who got on the bike for the first time and fell a few times, scraping their knees. This is how life works. No one would be able to walk if they stopped trying as toddlers after they fell on their butt. It's going to be rough at first, but this is the process of developing yourself into a functioning human being. The process is worth it. Your people are worth it. You are worth it. Jesus did not come to help us survive or allow us to exist. He came to give us life, and life in its fullness. Socialization is baked into our being. Going against this is unnatural and unhealthy. We can no longer exist in a zombified and undead state. Isolating ourselves is the behavior of the walking dead. The only difference between a man with no respect or value in the world and a man in the grave is the ability to breathe. We must resurrect ourselves from the shallow grave of social irrelevance into the life our Creator planned for us. We are the chosen people of the Most High God. Israelite lives matter. Your life matters. It's time to make it count.